All right, what is going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Welcome to another Facebook ads training within the clinical marketers community. If you're brand new to this group, every single Monday we go live to share with you what is working right now to get patients in the door using Facebook ads. We do go into a lot of sales and systems and hiring, but we predominantly focus on how to scale your practice using Facebook ads. So my name is Jordan Mather. I started Clinical Marketer, and some of you might know me as the Facebook guy. And I work with physical therapy practices to help them get a steady stream of new patients coming into their business so that they don't have to rely on those grassroots strategies, relying on physician referrals or word of mouth, all those things that require a lot of time on your end and prevent you from being able to make smart business decisions in the future about hiring, about scaling and growing your practice, because you never really know just how many people are going to be coming in. So today I want to do something kind of special. I want to make a bet with a lot of you. Okay, you pick any 5-year-old, we train them, and at the end of the training, they run your ads and they get a higher return on their ad spend than you do currently. That is the bet that I'm willing to make with all of you. And now, why on earth would I be willing to make such a bet? Well, because here's what you don't know, at least not yet, that running ads with a consistent and profitable return on your ad spend is stupid freaking simple. Okay, we've been helping people do this for a really long time, and they are not good at marketing or tech savvy people, but they're able to get a really good return. Now, why is that? Why do people want you to believe that it is so complicated? Because they absolutely do. Marketers and coaches out there want you to believe that this stuff is complicated. Why? Because if you believe that it is complicated, if you believe that it is too difficult for you to do it, you will continue to buy course after course and hire agency after agency with all of your money ending up in their pockets. But here's the thing about all that. If Facebook was so incredibly difficult that nobody could do it besides an expert certified person, then advertisers would stop paying ads to Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg would have to sell his house in Hawaii. And now let's be honest here. He's not going to be selling jack. Okay. So what is the simple formula? What is the simple framework that is so simple that a 5-year-old could do it? Okay, today I'm going to be covering that and a whole lot more. So if you are on here live, make sure to smash that like and love button, comment live. If you're catching the replay, comment replay. We love seeing you guys pop up here. Seamus, good to see you on here as always, brother. Good to see you. Hope you had a really good weekend. Enjoy the gorgeous weather that's out there. Okay, so if you are watching this video right now, okay, you're probably in one of two positions. Okay, number one is probably never ran ads before. And number two is you probably ran them before and they never seem to work, no matter who you hire, no matter how much you try yourself. Okay, those are one of the two positions that you're in. Jeff, what's happening, brother? And what I'm going to be walking you through today are really the 3 pillars of highly profitable practice advertising. How to make sure that all of your efforts are as profitable and scalable as humanly possible. Because chances are you're still doing something that got you to the level of success that you're at currently, but you're stuck and you hit a ceiling. You can't break through to that next level because what got you there is never going to get you to the next phase of where it is that we're trying to get you to. So today we're going to walk you through all of those 3 pillars so you can see behind the scenes of what's actually working. So I'm going to show you exactly how our partners are scaling their practices to multiple 6 and even 7 figures using paid advertising at a 5 to 10x return on ad spend. Okay, that is the ultimate goal of what we teach and what we hope for you. Okay, the bare minimum of acceptance that you should allow on your ads is a 3x return. Anything less than that, you're leaving so much on the table and you're honestly wasting a lot of time. There's a lot of ways to make sure that you are getting a high return, and it's a lot freaking easier than you think. Okay. So I'm going to show you our world-class internal systems for maximizing show-up rates, conversions, and patient reactivation. Okay, we're going to show you how outsourcing what you don't understand is actually crippling your long-term growth, and how to build a sustainable and scalable system instead. Because again, it takes a little bit of time. You have to think a little bit differently. But at the end of the day, if you have kind of the checklist, if you have the process for doing it, it's pretty simple. It's very, very manageable. It's not as hard as a lot of people make it, at least. So I'm going to be going live for at least the next 45 minutes, I'd imagine. And what I'm going to ask of you is that you pay very close attention during those times. So I'm going to be teaching you a lot of things that have evolved over the months that is allowing practices that were deemed, lost causes or trouble clients by other groups, how they are now growing faster than they ever thought possible, and even making their first hires, which is insanely exciting because this stuff really works. Okay, so what I'm going to show you, you can't find anywhere else. You can't find this stuff because we didn't just buy this in a course. We didn't just go on YouTube, learn a few things, copy someone else's framework, and then claim to be, experts at marketing practices. We've been doing this for 8 years. We've put in the hours. We've put in the blood, sweat, and tears in experimenting on countless strategies. We found a ton of ways that really didn't work. We found a lot of ways to fail and only a few ways that work insanely well. So everything that I'm about to teach you, this isn't just regurgitated information from someone else's information. This is lessons learned from living or dying by our ability to market physical therapy practices successfully. Okay, this is what actually works. We're now the most copied physical therapy Facebook advertisers in the world right now, I would bet. The ad system that we follow, our relatability framework and our Revolver System framework, is one of the most copied strategies that's out there. So that's what I'm going to be walking through today. So I promise that what I'm about to show you, you can't find or learn anywhere else besides from this video. Okay, so I understand you're busy. You have things going on. I get it. You got kids running in the background. You got cats tapping on your keyboard trying to distract you. But if you give me your attention for about 30 to 45 minutes, I'm going to show you a method that works extremely well. And you're going to be really glad that you paid attention. So what we have for you again today is 3 pillars. Okay. Number 1 is making sure that you're building to scale. Okay. Why, if you follow what most other people are coaching right now, how that is going to cripple your long-term business and life growth and how much time you actually have to do the things that you had in mind when you started your practice in the first place, and what you can start to do instead of a lot of those things. Pillar number 2 is aim small, miss small. Basically, how to pinpoint your exact ideal patient within the marketplace and how to find where the biggest opportunity lies in an incredibly overpopulated and oversaturated market of all these other groups, acupuncturists, chiros, massage therapists, personal trainers who are even now trying to do some level of physical therapy, which is just wrong. Okay, so pillar number 2 is how to aim small, miss small, so that you can have a bigger impact, get more referrals, charge even more, and get people to travel further for your services. Okay, pillar number 3 is leaving nothing to freaking chance. Okay, marketing is not a guessing game. You do not need to be a marketing genius to have a ton of success advertising and growing your practice. Okay, that is not what it is about. So I'm going to show you how you can have wildly successful ads and marketing campaigns without needing to be good at marketing. Most of our clients, I would not say, are good marketers or creative thinkers. Okay, you don't need to be successful or don't need to be a marketing genius in order to have success with advertising your practice, whether it's on Facebook or any other platform. This stuff is actually a lot easier than people think. Angel, good to see you on here. Never too busy for you, Jordan. Appreciate it, Jeff. Okay, guys. Before I dive into these 3 pillars and really take you behind the scenes of what's working right now to get patients in the door, I want to share a story with you to give you a little bit more context into how this moment came to be. So we've been helping practices for, as I said, helping practices grow online for the better part of a decade. Okay, we started Clinical Marketer back in 2017. Before that, we ran a medical software company for sports medicine hospitals. And so we started Clinical Marketer in 2017 when we got really sick of the software game, all the nuanced chaos that is in software. And we started doing what we really loved, which is the marketing side of things. And so Clinical Marketer was born in 2017. And today, like I said, our ads are some of the most copied physical therapy ads on the internet. Okay. And I love it. Okay. People can keep copying us all day because we're investing so much in R&D that we're always a few steps ahead. And everything that you can even copy on our ads, like you can see our ads all day, but what makes them work is all the stuff that's behind the scenes, the stuff that I'm going to be walking through here today. So people can copy our ads all day. Okay. But before all this stuff happened, before our ads were some of the most copied ads out there, we used to be a done for you marketing agency. Okay. We used to run ads on behalf of practices until we ran into sort of a identity crisis with our team and with our company. See, our team are diehard entrepreneurs. We are relentlessly independent. We are addicted to momentum. We don't know how to turn it off. Okay. Max and I have been self-employed since we're 18 and 19 years old. Okay. Ben and Brad, the physical therapists on our team, they both have or sold 7-figure practices. Okay. They're beast operators. Okay. You don't all of us we're all addicted with the systems and the process of creating something that has exponential growth. Okay. But you don't get to that point. You don't last that long if you're not a talented operator, which really means if you're not good at building systems and processes that eventually are designed to be handed off to another person. Okay, that is essential to be able to scale a business. Okay, you can't build a sustainable or a scalable business unless you're identifying problems, building systems and processes to solve those problems, and then handing those systems off to someone else so that you can focus on whatever that next problem is. Okay, that was who we were. That was, basically one of our internal mantras as a business. Before we even really knew what a mantra was, right now we have one that we talk a lot about, which is destroy the charlatans. But the one that came before destroy the charlatans is you can't outsource what you yourself cannot do. Okay, we live by that. We embody that. And, internally as a company, we did absolutely everything by the book in regards to that mantra. But every time as a done for you agency, every time we sold one of our packages, we weren't teaching that. Okay. See, when you hire an agency, you're only prolonging the inevitability that they're going to start to slow down. The results are going to start to fade away, and their system, it'll work for a while, but it's eventually going to fatigue, and the results will slow until you decide to move on to another agency. Okay, there's a lot of nuances about why that always happens. There is an economic explanation for why that happens with agencies, because they aren't able to, unless they're charging boatloads of money and they don't have dozens and dozens of clients, they can't give you the level of customization necessary to have long-lasting campaigns and strategies. That's why the average retention rate for an agency is right around 4 to 6 months, which is horrible. That was a business model that we didn't enjoy. And so it also didn't align with our core beliefs of how you should run a business. Okay. And people, they were going from agency to agency and agency. And we call that essentially the agency loop of death, because you can waste, we've seen people waste hundreds of thousands of dollars with marketing groups and never gave them a return. And so the realization that our business, the business that we had built, was completely out of alignment with our own core values. Okay. And this really got us thinking. Okay. So early in 2020, we decided that we were going to do this whole thing entirely differently. We're going to scrap everything and do something that no one else has really done. Okay. So we shut down our agency, and we decided that we're going to become educators. Okay. And why? Because here's what we knew. Here's what we knew as a business to date from doing this for so long. We created a very reliable and consistent system for booking new patients using Facebook ads. That's what we know. We also knew that this system was really easy to manage, because we needed to make it simple, because we needed to be able to scale it across many different practices. And so we knew that it was super simple to manage, so simple that a 5-year-old could do it. Okay, and believe me, I taught coding classes to 5-year-olds. So I am able to say that. I am qualified to be able to say that. Okay, Bitbox, does anyone have kids using Bitbox? It teaches like kindergarten kids how to begin coding. And that's what I taught. So if you know Bitbox, let me know. But anyway, I know for a fact that I could teach this stuff to a 5-year-old, because I've taught them coding. This stuff is not more complicated than that. Okay, so I know that I can teach this to PTs. At least I knew when we started this. And it's important to know that, or it's important for you to understand that when I said we want to become educators, I did not mean become coaches. Okay, I meant educators, because coaches, their success is very often, all too often actually, judged based off of the success of a few. They shine a spotlight on the few people that do really good, and then that it's easy for them to sell, even though most people really aren't getting good results within their program. So there are way too many instant pop agencies or microwave coaches out there selling their programs using the results from maybe 10% of their clients, when they know for a fact 80 to 90% of the other people aren't getting good results. And that, especially being compared to that, and people ask me like, well, how am I different from those guys? Infuriated me. Call it ego, call it whatever you want. It made me really mad. So I've been doing this for a really long time. And for a bunch of newbies to pop up, burn a bunch of people, and then make me look bad, that didn't sit well with me. So we decided if we were going to do this whole teaching thing, we're going to do it right. So our mission as a company and ultimately how we judge ourselves is on our class average, meaning at least 80% of our clients must succeed. That is the minimal level of acceptance for our programs. And so when you learn about how we do things, it is very, very, very structured. There's a lot of hand-holding, and it's very important for us that people don't just understand how to do stuff, but they understand why, so they can learn from it, they can grow from it, they can replicate it. Okay, this is why a client success and support is literally the second biggest expense at Clinical Market. That is where a massive portion of our money goes to make sure that we are hitting that minimal mark, which we are, which makes me insanely proud, because I don't think there's any other programs out there that can actually say that, which it makes me even more proud. But anyway, we gave teaching how to install patient getting ads a shot, and the results were really, really, really exciting. Today, we've helped over 100 practices take their advertising in-house and scale to multiple 6 and even 7 figures using these 3 pillars that I am about to teach you. So this week alone, from my inbox was blown up from all of our clients, from all different walks of life, all different sizes, all different patient populations, that were blown away at how quickly this stuff was actually working. So I'm going to take 2 seconds. I'm actually going to share my screen with you guys. So if you check this out, one of my boys, Paul, if you guys know Paul, give him a shout out and tag him in here, because I want to shine a spotlight on this stuff, because what you shine a light on grows, and I want Paul to keep killing it. So his original goal when he joined was 20 patients a week. Since May, he's been hitting that mark every week, and this week he's got 27. His next goal is to hit 80, and I'm really, really excited to help him start to scale this up to hit that number. And I'm going to show all of you how we go about scaling our systems and our campaigns to be able to start hitting the goals that you're looking for, because it really is just algebra. Once you get a few key performance indicators down, then it's really, really easy to start scaling this stuff. And I'm going to walk you through that stuff. Other wins we had this week was... Okay, Ashlyn, she just got her first ad launch, and she got her initial eval booked. That's fantastic. AJ in May grossed over 15K in his practice as a one-man show, working 3 days a week. That is epic. Now we're helping him to work on hiring his first person. Super, super exciting. Michael Shin, we're helping him build his teams and build out his systems, and now he has his messaging and things dialed in with his front desk. That's awesome. Then there's Paul, again, who's now too busy to show up to our classes, which is, that's probably the best problem I could ever have. That's fantastic. We actually have had a decline in people being able to show up to our Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday classes in our private mastermind because they're now too busy, and now we're helping them hire to get some of their time back so they can come back to our live trainings. Again, really fantastic problem I have, but a problem nonetheless. Then Spencer Agnew. Congrats, Spencer. He just made his first hire because in March, he was stuck at 30 clients a month. We helped him scale to 137 a month over the span of 2.5 months. And he just made his first hire. So this stuff can happen really, really quick. We got AJ Cohen in May. He spent, $310, brought in a little under $4,000. We got Tara, and Tara's a really, really unique story that I love. She was dragged through the dirt with another group and basically labeled someone that they just couldn't help. They were happily taking her money, but they weren't delivering on the results, and she wasn't able to get her money back because she had signed a contract, even though they did not uphold their end of the bargain on that contract. But we took her in, we helped her set up her ads, and with her first campaign, she spent $200, nearly pulled in 2,000. Now we're helping scale her up so she can pay off that program that left her in the dirt. Then we got another person. Actually, we think we took the name off of this one, but spent only $150 and brought in 1,000. That's just getting rolling. This person spent almost 300, brought in almost 3,000. Okay, and this is just this month. Okay, we got someone, Nick Scotto. Okay, his program technically ended and he's not in our program anymore, but we got him to the point where he was pulling in, March to April, pulled in nearly $15,000 over the span of that month and a half. April to May, again, pulled in another $10,000 from his ads, and he barely freaking touches them, which which is even cooler because when you set up this system, I'm going to walk you through the special unique campaign that we invented that's allowing people to not only get these results, but minimize how much time it actually takes to manage it, because Facebook has some really cool tools that can help do it for you. So I'm going to share that stuff with you and a whole lot more here in just a minute. So it's been so incredibly successful. The group classes in our mastermind are literally slowing down because everyone is too busy with their patients now. And so again, we're helping them. They're working with Ben, they're working with Brad to help make their first hires. And like I said, that's the best freaking problem I ever had. So everyone who's on here watching the live, you guys ready for the 3 pillars? Ready for me to dive into this stuff? What's up, Max? Jeff, Seamus. Awesome to see you guys on here. Yeah, smash the like, smash the love button. Get a little energy flowing in here. All right, so we're going to move on to pillar number 1, which is built to scale. Okay, how to really focus your attention on the things that are going to grow exponentially within your business so that you don't burn out. Okay, look at Spencer Agnew. He just made his first hire and he grew insanely rapidly once we set him up with this campaign. He's another person from Wisconsin, represent. And he had tried Facebook ads. He'd gone through other programs that got him started, but he was stuck at about 30 visits a month. He tried everything. He told me that he was on the verge of shutting down his practice and just giving up and going and finding a job. But then he kind of took a Hail Mary. He joined our program. And again, in March, he was stuck at 31 visits a month. And he had a baby that he just had. He's trying to pay his mortgage. He's got a lot of things going on within his life. And he came on, we set up his ads with him, and right away, right out of the gate, he was getting patients contacting him. And over the span of the 2.5 months he's been working with us, we've been helping him scale his campaigns incrementally over time, going after primarily runners is his emphasis. And within a couple of months, he's now at 137 visits a month. And as you just saw, he just made his first hire. Okay, his life is completely transformed. He's now able to pay himself more. Another example was AJ Cohen, who crushed it. He's now doubled how much he's able to pay himself and is now working on making his first hire as well. And so the whole point of this story between Spencer and AJ is not to, just hype up our program, but also to show you they started out doing all the same grassroots stuff that any practice should do when they first get rolling. They did the workshops, they did the networking, they marketed and emailed physicians' offices, they cold messaged people in Facebook groups and started their own Facebook groups and did all of this organic stuff to try to get their business off the ground, which they did successfully. Okay, it got them to 10, 12 visits a week, and it got them busy and it got money coming in. It got it off the ground. But something that all of you might kind of recognize and in yourselves is they did these things and they were thrilled beyond belief that it worked. But all of a sudden they find themselves hitting this ceiling where every single weekend they're out networking, they're doing all the workshops, and they're tapped out on time. They've tapped out how many referrals they can get. And now it seems like they built this beast of a monster that requires so much of their time every single day and weekend. They're missing out on events with their families. They're missing out on quality time with their brand new babies. And they're not sure if they can sustain it. They're burning out incredibly quick. And it's because the systems that they're taught, and a lot of the systems that other coaches are teaching, while at the same time saying never run ads, but what they're teaching doesn't scale. Okay, it can get you started, but your time does not scale. Okay, and so I call this the grassroots fallacy. Grassroots marketing is insanely important. No one can take relationships away from you. Building strategic relationships needs to be a cornerstone within your business. But you also need to realize that you are going to hit a stone or hit a ceiling with those strategies. Eventually, you have to find another way to be able to, one, get patients in the door without it being directly linked to your time, so that while those patients are coming in, you're able to focus on building those scalable systems internally so that you can break through that ceiling. If all of your time is focused in grassroots marketing, you're unable to build sustainable systems, you're unable to build a scalable way to have patients coming in the door that's not directly linked to your time. That focusing only on the grassroots stuff is how you hit all these ups and downs within your practice, because you'll do all the grassroots stuff, you'll get a surge of patients, then the next month, nothing. You have to go do it all over again. And it's just this roller coaster that just burns people out. And this is why we love paid ads at Clinical Marketer, because one, time's not scalable. But when you're running ads, you can scale them with freaking button clicks. All you have to do is click a few buttons and it scales. You need 6 more patients this week? Perfect. I want to show you a tiny little algebra equation you can plug in. They'll tell you exactly how much you need to spend on your ads to be able to get that many patients in the door. Okay, it's a super simple, fast way to grow and scale your practice. So I'm going to walk you through an example of how exactly we determine this stuff. I'm going to show you AJ's profitability tracker for May. Okay, and so basically, there's a couple numbers that we plug in here. It's one, your average plan of care cost, how much you spent on ads, how many leads have been generated, so we can figure out, what's the actual cost per lead. Okay, this is one of those. Okay, so here we go. So this cost per lead is one of the most important things that we need to run. When we initially run ads, this is the number we need to find out, because once we know how much it costs to get one patient in the door, this cost per initial, I'm sorry, that's actually the number. We don't care about cost per lead because leads mean nothing. All that matters is that they're actually coming in and they're good quality fits, they're buying plans of care. So what we're looking for is how much it costs to get one initial done. And then once we know how much it costs to get one person in the door, now it's really easy to figure out how much you need to spend to hit whatever goal you have. So AJ's next goal is that he wants to be hitting 10 visits a week only from his ads, aside from all the other things that he's doing. So all we have to do is take this number and basically multiply it by the cost per initial. Now this is actually rounding up, so this number's not exact, but now he knows that in order to hit 10 visits, not just leads, but 10 people coming in the door, he needs to spend $206.84 to get 10 visits a week. And that's in the door, or $29 to $55 a day, which is insanely reasonable when you know that, okay, if I'm spending $30 a day and my return on ad spend is 10, okay, you can expect a 10x return on this $30. You're going to get at least $300 a day from these ads. Once you run them for about 2 weeks, will give us enough data. We really want to run them for a month to have more accurate numbers here. But that is how easy it is to start scaling up your ads. Run them for 2 weeks to a month, get the data, find out how much it costs to get one person in the door, multiply that, and now you know exactly how much you need to spend to start scaling your practice. And it really is that simple. We did the exact same thing with Nick Scotta, which I think is, right here. Okay, so Nick started out super slow. And then incrementally, we increased his ad spend to the point where now he's pulling in an easy 15 to 20K. I think his biggest month was a little over 20K from his ads that he barely ever touches. Okay, so once you have one campaign that's working really well, scaling it is actually insanely easy. All it is plugging in an algebra equation and incrementally increasing your ad spend over time. Okay, and a lot of people, when I break out those numbers and I say, okay, you got to spend $20, $30 a day, they start to get really anxious. They're kind of afraid of doing that, but people are looking at ads all wrong. Okay. You see it as a marketing expense. This number that, okay, I have $500 a month to spend on ads and that's it. And that is you can't think about ads that way, because what you're really creating when you launch an ad campaign is you're essentially creating a stock. Now, to give you an example of what I'm talking about here is, if I told you right now that I had a stock that you could go and invest in today and tomorrow it's going to give you a 10x return on whatever you put in, how many of you are going to go empty your bank account into that stock? Maybe not entirely, but I guarantee you most of you would go in there and start putting in a lot more money than your $500 marketing budget. And that is exactly what this ad system does. Okay, as you saw in here, okay, AJ Cohen, he's getting a 10x return on his. Tara, a 7x return. Took the name off of this one, but a 13x return. Okay, if we had a stock that had a 13x return on it, how much money would you put into it? A lot. Okay, so you start off with a minimal budget, and then once you figure out these numbers, these KPIs for your campaign, now it's time. You're getting a 13x return. It makes a heck of a lot of sense to start increasing how much you're willing to spend every single day. And if that makes you feel uncomfortable, okay, take a look at what you're spending a day and multiply that by your return on ad spend. And that's going to tell you how much money you're going to make every single day. Okay, think of ads as stocks. You're literally creating your own stock market, which I think is the coolest thing in the freaking world. That's why Clinical Marketer, we're spending $400 a day on our ads, because we realize how scalable it actually is and how much of an investment in your long-term growth it truly is. So we need to think about ads a little bit differently if you're going to have success with them. You You can't just spend $5 a day and expect to get a ton of patients in the door. You just can't. You got to spend money to make money. That's the name of the game. Okay. So some of people ask me pretty often, why do we do Facebook ads? Why not YouTube? Why not Google? Why not, all these other different wonderful platforms that are available? And a lot of people are surprised when I tell them, because, those other platforms work just as well. You can have a ton of success on YouTube and Google. I know a lot of people that have. We have. A lot of people don't know that before, we ran Clinical Marketer, we also worked for another very large agency. And all my original certifications were in Google, but we've also ran Google ads, YouTube ads, Instagram, email marketing, pretty much every form of patient acquisition you could possibly imagine. We've done it with every practice size you can think of, from the ones that have 7 locations, marketing directors and chief medical officers, to the single clinician, 1-person shows. And honestly, I love Google ads much more than Facebook ads, but there's this one day that we ran into a ceiling with one of our larger accounts, and we were doing everything under the sun, whole digital marketing package, including YouTube, Google, Facebook, everything, and content creation. And we couldn't scale past them. I mean, they're getting good results, they're profitable, but we weren't able to hit the goal that they actually had. And so we had to bring in a specialist because we couldn't figure it out. And long story short, they basically told us to bring in all of our numbers from all of our different marketing campaigns. And when all said was done, after they had analyzed it, they basically pointed out that 80% of our results were coming from Facebook ads, even though we maybe spent 20% of our time analyzing and working on the Facebook ads. So we very quickly realized that, holy crap, Facebook ads are producing way more results, but they require way less time to actually, implement and grow. So we realized that it is the fastest, most consistent, most predictable way to help busy practice owners that don't have the time to, do keyword research every single day and update their bid strategies. We realized that Facebook was the easiest way for practices to quickly get patients in the door and to start to scale. So why do we focus on Facebook ads? Not because it's, the absolute best platform out there. There's a lot of different ways you can get patients in the door, but what we found, and in our experience, going back years and years and years, Facebook ads have been the easiest, most consistent, and the fastest way to get patients in the door quickly. And so that's why we focus on Facebook ads, because our program is all about building a foundation for scalability. Once we teach you Facebook ads, and once you have a consistent and scalable system that you can now hand off and delegate to an admin, that's when you want to focus on Google, YouTube, or these other platforms. By no means are we saying only do Facebook ads. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, but you absolutely do need to put, focus on one basket at a time. Otherwise, you're just diluting yourself and not going to get results anywhere. So that's why we chose Facebook ads. And right now, it has never been a better time to market on Facebook. There's been a lot of changes that Facebook has recently made to the algorithm and the advertising platform in general to make it easier. Because once COVID really hit, the number of advertisers skyrocketed. We're talking like 10 million plus added advertisers on Facebook between Q2 and Q4 of 2020. That is a lot of new money pouring into Facebook ads. And so Facebook realized that we either need to make our system easier for advertisers to advertise on, or we're going to lose them to other platforms like Google. And so Facebook made additions to their algorithm to make it easier to put your ads in front of the right people, to create dynamic ads that split test different headlines and messaging and creatives for you. So you don't have to do all that stuff. Facebook has made it easier now than ever for practices to have success in-house using their platform. By no means do you need an expert advertiser to do this stuff, okay? To me, Facebook advertisers and agencies are basically what, I always forget the name of it, but the people that used to like plug in the phones when you would make a call, the operators, okay? Digital marketing agencies today are basically like phone operators in the 40s. Okay, it's very, very simple. It's kind of redundant. It's something that you can teach a 5-year-old how to do. And that's really what this is all about, and why we want and spread the message that everyone should start focusing on Facebook, because it is a very, very easy way to get patients in the door, whether you're a brand new practice or a seasoned veteran. Okay, so that's pillar number 1, build to scale. Don't focus all of your energy on things that require all of your time. You need to start focusing on, okay, get the cash flow coming into the business using the grassroots stuff. Absolutely. But usually once you're at like 10 visits, a week, that's kind of our benchmark. That's when we want to get involved with you and help you implement Facebook ads. Once you start getting to that level, you got to start thinking about, okay, how can I get some of my time back so that one, I can focus on growing the business and building the internal system so that when the time's right, I can start hiring and I can start growing this thing into that impact-driven business that you had in mind when you wanted to start this thing. Okay, so moving on to pillar number 2 is aim small, miss small. Okay, how many people have seen American Sniper? This is one of the famous like lines for snipers in the military. Okay, and basically what I mean by this is I want to show you how to pinpoint your most ideal patient in your community and how to remove yourself from the commodity physical therapy space and really position yourself as a specialist so that you don't have to suck up to physicians, you can get more referrals, and that people actually want to pay you more and travel further to come and see you over the other people. Okay, and that's what aiming small and missing small is all about, your messaging and your offer. Okay, I want to tell you a story about one of our clients, Michael, who again came to us burned and labeled problem clients from this other group that most of you have heard about. With them, they were running very, very general back pain ads, and he was getting a ton of leads, but not a single one of them would answer the phone. And if that's one of you guys, if you've been in that scenario, let me know. Drop some love in the comments because it's a massive problem. Our program is basically a melting pot of all the people who were let down by other people. I know a lot of practices out there feel the exact same way about that. And so he was running very general ads, getting some leads, but it was wasting an insane amount of time. And a lot of the people that came in would come in for that, free visit, but then they wouldn't actually buy a plan of care. And so the opportunity cost was monumental. And he was, about to give up. He thought, he knows Facebook ads work, but this group was making him feel like they don't work or they don't work for him. And that he was going to have to close down shop because he started basically a brand new practice and he was not getting the volume that he needed. And then, he decided to come and work with us, decided to trust us, even though he had every reason not to. And within 45 days, he not only basically paid off that previous program, but he was getting contacts, quality people contacting him every day, people who were actually answering the phone and actually excited about coming in because we focus doing this stuff a very, very different way than most people do. Okay, we get laser focused on who it is you want to market to. Okay, on your website, you can say, we help active adults return to the activities they love without painkillers, injections, or surgery. That's general. People on Google want general. Okay, but when you're advertising on Facebook to people who are not actively looking to buy physical therapy, you need to be laser focused in order to capture their attention, to make them have that feeling like, oh my God, this is like what I've been waiting for. I was just thinking about this. Facebook is reading my mind. Okay. That is how you get people to come in and get excited to work with you and want to pay those $200 a visit high premium fee. Okay. That's how you do it, by having really, really laser focused messaging. Okay. One of the things I love to say all the time is that those who can describe the problem the best are perceived to have the best solution. Okay, and they absolutely are. That is a psychological law, basically, that if someone can describe this better than that person probably has a better solution. Okay, and so that is how our ads are structured. We focus on using the stories and the knowledge that you have about your patients to turn that into a world-class ad. Because at the end of the day, nobody knows your patients better than you do. And so we take some of that knowledge out of your head and put them in a formula that we have, and it works insanely well. Luckily, at the same time, we've been doing this a really long time. We've collected a lot of data on different stories that patients have said, and we know what ads work. So usually when you're starting out with us, we already have the ads for your population that work insanely well. And then we teach you why they work so you can replicate them and learn from them and start to realize, like, here's what actually works and what resonates with your community. Okay, so we help you figure all that stuff out. And by being absurdly specific, like talking about having used a PCP pipe for like stretching out your shoulders because you can't do overhead lifts, like talking about specific problems, not shoulder pain, but the problems that are caused by the shoulder pain. That is how we get Facebook to show our ads to the exact people, because how Facebook algorithms works, it's called a machine learning algorithm. Okay, and that Facebook has more data on any of us than anyone else in the world. Maybe Google is a contender for that, but Facebook is the juggernaut of data. And so when our messaging, when our ads focus on very specific problems, Facebook, whether it's mind reading technology or they're just stalking us on every page of the internet, they know exactly who's having those problems and who to go show your ads to. And every single time someone clicks on that ad, every single time someone opts into the landing page, Facebook learns from that activity and then gets even smarter and goes out and finds more people who had similar attributes and interests and behaviors as those people. Okay, the Facebook tracking mechanism and algorithm is out of this freaking world. And so when you are very specific about the problems you're solving and who it is you want to go and find, Facebook will go and find them. Okay, if like the group that Michael had originally worked with, their campaign was very general. It was a general discovery visit style offer. And so if you aim big with Facebook ads, you're going to miss big. Okay, Facebook is smart enough to go out and find exactly who you tell them to go and find. So vague, ambiguous messaging is not going to work. That's how you're going to find the vague, ambiguous kind of patients who don't really know what they want. They're not really sure. They might come in, but then they might not buy anything. Okay, you got to be very specific. Okay, aim small, miss small. And that is how you win with Facebook ads. And now how you actually do that are by two things. Okay, a while back, we created what we call a relatability statement. And this is kind of the heart and blood of how we advertise. This is basically at the very beginning of your ad. The very first line that people read is a yes or no question that only your avatar is going to say yes to. Okay, it needs to be something that if anyone else reads this, it's not going to make any freaking sense. But to that person, they're like, this Facebook's in my head. Okay, I've been thinking about this all day. I can't believe this ad just popped up. Okay, we want to create those moments that make them feel special, that make them feel heard, that almost make them feel stalked a little bit. Okay, we want to hit those very specific questions like, are you unable to reach in the back seat anymore to pick up your kid's bottle? Insanely specific, but moms are like, oh my God, yes. And by the way, women with shoulder pain is a massive, very successful ad campaign. It's one of our hot ones right now. But that is how specific we want to get. Okay, now a lot of you are like, oh, you can't say pain on Facebook. You can't say surgery and all these things. Yes, you can. You are wrong. Okay, the real rule around the messaging is, and why your ads might get disabled, is because you're not allowed to assign a negative attribute to a person. Okay, you can't say, are you in pain? But you can say many moms needlessly suffer from pain, because you're applying it to the masses. You're not directing it to the person that's reading it. That is the nuanced difference. Okay, so very, very important to understand that. Don't get your ad accounts disabled. Don't avoid words like you and your. You can absolutely use them. You just have to be careful and make sure that you're reading carefully, and making sure that you're not assigning a negative attribute to somebody. Okay, so you've gotten their attention. You've proven that you understand them better than anyone else with your relatability question. Now it's time to drive it home to prove that you're an expert, a specialist, and you are the most logical person for them to go and see. How do you do that? You do that with what we call an irresistible offer. Okay, you want to make something that is very, very unique and tailored to them. Okay, even though it might be a paid discovery visit, you don't call it a paid discovery visit. You call it something that's going to speak directly to the heart and soul of the person that you're wanting to market towards. Maybe you want to pull in postpartum moms trying to get back to running. Okay, what am I going to call this session? Not a discovery visit. I'm going to call it a postpartum moms runners assessment for $47. And now they're like, oh my God, this is exactly what I've been looking for. Now they're trying to compare you to other people in town. They're like, well, they have a discovery visit. But this person has exactly what I'm looking for. I'm going to go to that person. Okay, so it's very, very key that whenever you are targeting to a collective audience of people with a specific problem, make sure that you make them an offer that makes them feel special, makes them feel heard, and that it's just for them, especially at the end of your workshops. If you offer a free evaluation at the end of a workshop, I'm going to get a one-way ticket to your practice to yell at you. Don't do that. You just have people sit down with you for an extended period of time, listen to everything you had to say, and then you give them the same offer that they can get any day of the week, anywhere in town. Make something up, make something special, make them feel special and happy that they showed up there. Okay, name it something to the room. For example, one of our clients usually did a free eval, converted about 20% of the room at the end of her workshops. Instead, we made it a women of burn and continence assessment. So it was a workshop for a burn boot camp. Instead of doing it for free, even though it was the exact same thing, we charged $97 for it. And she converted more than half the room. It was like 11 people. Same thing, $97 though, because she changed what she was calling it. So make sure that you're not being boring with your offers. Make something that's unique to people that even if they don't know what physical therapy is, they understand it and they understand what the value of it is. Okay, so that's pillar number 2, aim small, miss small. We're gonna move on to pillar number 3, okay? Leave nothing to chance. There's this myth within marketing that you have to be a really creative person. You have to know how to do graphic design. You have to have all these bells and whistles to be a good marketer. And that just isn't the freaking truth. We have the internet. We have so much access and leverage to go and find what is already working out there in the marketplace. And so we have to make sure that we're doing our research, being a great advertiser and having, being the difference between having a insanely successful advertising campaign and one that just completely flops is you being a good detective. You need to go out there and find what is already working and start to understand not just what people are doing, but why they're doing it. What's the psychology behind it, and how does it make the buyer experience change and make people want to take the next action? Okay, so what I'm really going to be talking about in pillar number 3 is how to install a world-class marketing system without being a super creative marketing genius. Because I'm not going to lie, we've helped over 100 practices install Facebook ads within their practice. You know how many of them were good marketers? Take a guess at like a percentage. Maybe 5, not 5%. Oh, I guess it is 5%. 5 people of all of them I would consider were actually good creative thinkers and good at creating marketing messages. 5, okay? Yet this month alone, we've had nearly a dozen practices hit record months, make their first hires using ads they installed themselves, and they were not marketing geniuses. Most of them barely know a few of them barely know how to use a computer. Okay, note that it's no insult. I'm just stating the fact that some of these people are not tech savvy. They are not creative marketing, thinkers, but they are amazing clinicians. They know their patients really well. They understand their problems on multiple levels, and we're able to leverage that and plug it into a system that's working extremely well. So if you need to be a good marketer to get great results marketing, how on earth do they do it? Okay, myth debunked. Okay, it's not about being a creative genius. Again, it's about being a really, really good detective and being able to go out there and look and see what is and is not working for other people. So you need to go out there, use tools like the ad library to find out what's already working. Go look at your competitors, see what they're doing. But just know that just because your competitors are doing it does not mean that it's working, okay? For us, for example, every single time someone joins our program, we do not have them guess at which clients, what patient avatar and what messaging they should go after. Yes, we take into consideration, here are the patient populations they like to work with. We go into subsects of that niche that they actually want to work with, and we choose the campaigns that we already have tested and know for a fact work and are going to get them a return quickly. Because the point is to get them, one, an ROI as soon as possible, but we're educators. We're trying to teach them how to do this stuff. And if they're not getting data, we can't teach them anything. And so we're not going to start off with a super experimental campaign that might not work, because the goal is, yes, to get you patients, but goal number 1 is to teach you how to do this stuff so you can do it long term. That only works if we show you what's already working. So find someone who already knows what's working and copy exactly what they're doing. It's really nothing crazy. You literally just have to copy what someone has already done that's known to work. Okay. And another thing they have to do is approach marketing from a very holistic point of view. Okay. Getting an ad out there is a tiny, tiny percent of the whole pie. Okay. Running a Facebook ad is maybe 15% of the whole process that actually makes Facebook ads profitable. Okay. You need automated texting. You need automated emails to go out there to enrich the experience of that person. Because if you just have them opt in, then they receive an email, they're not going to see it. They're not going to buy it, because the people who are going to win online today and in the future, and this is one you definitely want to write down, are the people that are able to create a rich experience for people who are opting into those things. So as soon as they see your first page, before they can give you their information, you need to be focused on creating a world-class experience. And today, people expect a very quick turnaround, a quick hit of dopamine after every single action that they take. They want to be rewarded for their actions, okay? And so you need to make sure that when you do see an ad that you really like, opt into it, take a look at it, check out the email you get, check out the text, check out the landing pages. Okay, we do things like thank you offers. The thank you page, most underutilized page on the internet, hands down. Because most people just say a team member will contact you shortly. And that's crazy. Tell them what to do next. Make them feel really good about the decision they just made to opt in, and reward them for taking whatever the next step should be, which is to call you and schedule an appointment. Okay. So we do things like, we'll give you an extra $10 off, or we'll give you this ebook, or throw in this course if you call and schedule within the next 15 minutes. Okay. Do things to enrich the experience. Do things to leverage the momentum created by opting in to carry them through until they actually take the action that you want them to take. Okay, very, very important that you don't just run ads. Make sure that there's a back-end system for, making sure that you're capitalizing on all the leads that you are getting. Okay, never assume that when you run Facebook ads that, oh, I'll see it come through. I'll follow up them. Don't do it. I've seen it so many times that people don't have automated systems. And then they lose leads. They fall through the cracks, or they call them back at 8 o'clock at night after the day's over and that person opted in 6 hours ago, and then they never get a hold of them. You need something to have that person to hold on to. Most people don't remember opting in. They probably did it while they're on the toilet. You need to send them texts and emails to remind them what they did and why they did it, so that you have a chance of getting them to answer the phone when you do call them to schedule. So you need to have those automated systems. Do not leave it to chance and hope that you're going to remember to follow up with these people, and that you hope that you're going to keep everything organized. You won't, especially not at scale. Okay, you need automations. Okay, another thing is creatives. Okay, this is one of the biggest, one of my favorite things. If you've seen my ads, we're idiots. We have fun with it. We just get a little crazy and we try everything. And that is exactly what you need to do. You need to try absolutely everything. Best practice whenever you're running ads, start off with at least 3 different creatives, test all of them, okay? And get fun with it. The ads that do the best are never the ones that you tried really hard for. It's never the ones that are Photoshopped. It's never the ones that you made pretty in Canva. Or sometimes it is the team photos and the professional photos. But most of the time, it's the ones of you guys that show the most personality. The ones where you're goofing off in the clinic. The one where you're playing with your dog. The one where you're on a run with your spouse and your kids with the stroller. Those are the ones that do the best. And so the rule of thumb that we have is every single week, you should have a goal of uploading 1 new creative. Find the ad that's doing the best, duplicate it, swap out the image with the brand new one. And if you are doing that, you're going to run out of, good ideas. And you're going to have to start going to the crazy zone and just taking absurd photos and just testing it. Because here's the beautiful thing about Facebook ads. If it doesn't work, Facebook's not going to show it. Okay. Facebook optimizes your budget to be spent on the ones that are performing the best. And so if it doesn't work, no harm, no foul. No one sees it anyway. So test absolutely everything, because here's the most annoying thing about Facebook ads. The creatives and the images and the messaging that you think is going to work the best is never the one that's going to work the best. It is always the one you think is going to flop and fail. Just a few days ago, I saw one of our ads of me standing on a log looking like an idiot because photo shoots are awkward. And I immediately messaged Max. I'm like, why are you running this? Take that down. That is such a bad photo. And then he's like, absolutely not. That just cut our cost per lead in half. And it's by far our best converting ad. And it's a picture of me looking like an idiot. What does that tell you? Don't make assumptions. We do not put money in our own pockets, and therefore our assumptions, our opinions on the matter do not matter at all. So test absolutely everything. Again, Facebook ads are beautiful. So if it's a huge flop, Facebook's not going to show it anyway. It's going to focus on the ones that are doing the best. So it can never hurt to upload more creatives. And the ones that do the best are the ones, again, that show authenticity, that show a level of personality. Because what you're really doing when you try to be overly professional is you're putting up a smoke screen between you and that person. And that is going to make red flags go off in that person's mind, and they're not going to trust you enough to come in. But if they see you, it's like, oh, this person's playing with a dog in a CrossFit gym. It's like, oh, I freaking love dogs. I love CrossFit. This person and I are probably going to get along. I want to go talk to them. Show personality, be yourself. Don't be afraid to get goofy. People like goofy. Way too many people take themselves way too seriously today. Some of you might remember when one of our best ads for a little while was me kayaking or sledding down a hill in a kayak. So stupid. It was a ton of fun, but it worked really well because it showed like a personality. I think nowadays, especially, people just want to see that you don't take yourself too seriously. Because way too many do. Okay. So make sure you're getting creative. And the last part here for pillar 3 is don't assume what patient populations are going to be successful within your area. A lot of people, when they start Facebook ads, they're like, they want insanely specific avatars. And that is not where you want to start. Okay, you want to start with the lowest hanging fruit when it comes to marketing your practice. You don't want to just do back pain. Everyone does back pain. Okay, you want to find the opportunity within your market that no one else is hitting. You want to find the gap, the sweet spot that's just for you. And if you're only running one avatar, one patient population, one back pain or sciatica ad, you're taking away the ability for Facebook to find that opportunity and that gap for you within your community. And so what we do is we run a process that we invented called the Revolver System. And basically what this is we're taking a minimum of 3 different patient populations. We're putting it in a finely tuned, very specifically configured campaign that basically allows Facebook to take those 3 different avatars, find the specific time of day that they're being advertised the least amount by other advertisers, and focus on the gap. Okay, it finds the gap within your market across those multiple avatars, and that is how you win. Okay, you don't want to guess which avatar is going to do the best. Okay, that's what happened with Michael. It's what happened with Tara. It's what happened with a lot of people before they came to us. And now we've set them up with this Revolver system. It basically allows Facebook to find which times of the day and which days of the week work best for what avatars. We want to remove all the guesswork and thinking on our end and let Facebook do everything. We will never be smarter than Facebook. And Facebook's been very intentional about that because they want it to be extremely easy for you. The problem why most people don't have success on Facebook is because they're overthinking it and they're trusting their strategies to people that don't know what they're doing. That's ultimately what it's all about. So just to quickly recap all of this stuff, on pillar number 1, make sure that you're building to scale. Don't focus too much on the strategies that got you to where you are, because that's not going to get you to where you want to go. Okay, although Grassroots is very important for getting started, get your name out there and getting your first batch of patients, it is not going to get you to the 20 to 30 to 40 visits a month mark. It can. It's going to take you a really long time, though. Most of you don't have that time. So you need to start very intentionally focusing on strategies that can get you there, that don't require you to be working every single day to do it. Very important. Pillar number 2 is aim small and miss small. Focus on very specific patient populations. Moms with shoulder pain, runners with knee pain, CrossFitters with shoulder pain. These are all super strong niches. Or older populations with hip pain. That's another really good one. Be very specific with who it is you want to work with. And Facebook will do the heavy lifting and go and find those people. No more generic discovery visit style offers, because most people don't know what physical therapy is. And if you focus on advertising a discovery visit or a free screen, the perceived value is 0 because they don't even know what physical therapy is. They don't know what they're trying. Okay. Be specific. Okay. Aim small, miss small. If you are generic, you're going to aim big and you're going to miss big. Pillar number 3 is leave nothing to chance. Test everything. Go out there and find what's already working. Find out what kind of backend systems are needed to make that work and just copy it. Get the data, learn from it, and then test everything. The people who win in Facebook ads are not the smartest people. They're the people that test relentlessly. Okay, those are the people that do the best. You're giving Facebook enough to work with to find out who the best people are for you. If you think of Facebook's algorithm like a private detective, there's people who here's 3 clues to go and find the person that I really want to work with, and they never get results. And then there's the people that give every single scrap of evidence that this private detective could possibly use, their favorite color, their favorite food, their best friends, who their college roommate's cousin's girlfriend's name was, what color hair they have, everything. And they're the people who are winning big because they're giving Facebook enough to work with. And so that's how you win big with this strategy and how you build a world-class patient-getting ad system. Okay, so those are the 3 pillars. I hope you guys enjoyed this training. For those of you who are interested in learning how you can get this stuff installed at your practice, how you can start getting patients contacting you every single day so that you're too busy to show up and hang out and talk with me on my weekly calls. If that's you and you want, obviously we do this stuff free in the group every single week. We want everyone to win big. In a perfect world, I could give you guys this stuff for free and everyone would just win massively. You're going to create a massive impact in your community, but that's just not the case. Sometimes you do need a little bit more structure, do need a little bit more hand holding. And for those who do want that, we do have a private coaching program where within 10 days of working with us, we will install our signature Revolver campaign with you. We'll explain how it works so that you can replicate it down the road. And then over the span of the next 12 weeks, we'll be helping you scale, not only educating you on how the system works and why it works, but we'll be assisting you in scaling your practices ads, your teams, and your internal systems, because running Facebook ads is about scaling, but Facebook ads are a very tiny portion of what that ultimately is. So we will help make sure that as you get this new influx of leads, that you have the systems behind them to be able to sustain it so that you can scale those ads, because you have to scale them both at the same time or you're going to be in a mess. Okay, so for those of you who are interested in that, if you'd like to learn what the system could do for you, and what a custom solution for your practice might look like, comment booked below, and one of our specialists will follow up with you to schedule an ads game plan call. Now, this is not a sales call. This is a consultation. Okay, so there's nothing to sell on this call. It's about 15 minutes where they're basically going to ask you questions about, how long have you been practicing? Who do you love to work with? How many patients are you seeing a month? How are you getting those patients? Where is it that you're trying to get to? And what are you trying to do to get there? So that they're going to collect all the information they need to be able to give you a tailored and customized game plan on what you need to do and what you need to change to be able to hit those goals that you have. And if it makes sense, if they're extremely confident that our program can help you get there, then they're going to schedule a call with you and me so that you and I can have an honest discussion about where you're at, where you're trying to go. And I can give you the details of this program to make sure that it is a really good fit. So again, if you are a really good fit, we will schedule another call. This first call, nothing to sell, nothing but value. And if you get value out of that and you want to talk with us, that's when we will schedule an actual deep dive call on strategy session with me where we can figure out if this program is actually for you. Now, something that I definitely want to make super clear is that this is no ordinary coaching program. It's not a coaching program like ones you've been through in the past. Just as, premium college professor doesn't simply hand you a textbook and expect you to succeed and get great grades. We do not give you a course and just expect you to get 10x return on your ads. Okay, we've created a very unique Overwatch process, which I'll actually share and walk you through here. Boom. Let me see if I can blow this up. Okay, so we've created this very unique Overwatch process because our biggest goal as a company, again, is having a client success rate that we can be proud of, a class average that a professor would be over the moon about. Okay, and in order for us to do that, like I said in the beginning, we invest so heavily in client success, and this is what that looks like. So this Overwatch process is basically, we give you the course. You gain access to the course, which is right here. Teaches you absolutely every single thing you could possibly need in order to craft a unique message and offer for your practice, and then how to leverage that and launch that through Facebook, how to put it all together, how to optimize it, how to troubleshoot it, how to make sure that once it is working, what do you do next? How to make it work even better, as well as different sales psychology trainings that Ben does, another 7-figure practice owner that's selling his, that one hit his first 90K month 2 months ago, and he's selling each visit for $225 a visit. So how would you like to learn the sales system that not only got Ben to 90K a month less than 2 years into his practice when he's 28 years old, but also allowed him to do that while charging twice as much as everyone else in his community? So if you want to learn those sales systems, all this stuff is in here. We teach you the Revolver campaign. We teach you a little bit about workshops, a little bit about email and text messaging, and we show you exactly which ads are doing the best across various patient populations. So you can hit the ground running right from the get-go. So the course teaches you everything, but where the real magic happens is in this process, because there are tech requirements that get a lot of people hung up. So instead of having you figure out for an afternoon, our team's going to jump on a call with you, set all of those things up with you so you never have to worry about it again. You'd figure it out 2 hours, 3 hours probably. We'll knock it out with you in 20 minutes. From there, we have homework basically to help you decide what patient populations are the best for you within your community, where your gap is going to be within your community. And then we take you through our different messaging and offer creation workshops and give you homework to help drive home core concepts and help you create a world-class ad that's going to get patients excited to come and work with you. Once you have that figured out, we have another call where we actually set up your ads together. Okay, we're not going to launch on this call because there's back-end elements that need to be set up before we can launch our ads. Because again, ads are only a small portion of what makes this whole system work. But we will set up your Revolver campaign with you because we want you to watch it done the first time to make sure little nuanced details are recorded and remembered. And then you can do it on your own every time after. And then once those ads are set up, before we launch it, we have one more assignment for you. This is basically to go in and set up a CRM that we provide you with. It used to be where you have to, pay for your own email marketing system, text marketing system, landing page software. And we basically, our program was us creating this Frankenstein monster out of all these different subscriptions you have. It was chaos. Instead, within this program, we provide you with a HIPAA compliant CRM that already has our best emails, texting, landing pages, all of our systems that we use to scale practices already built out for you. We just give it to you. And so your next homework before we turn on your ads is essentially to go into all of the different systems that we already have built and make sure all of your information is right. Put in whatever offer and patient populations you're going to be going after. Put in your logos where they need to go and your business information. Then once that's all set up, once you believe that you followed our instructions to the T, which we do walk you through every single piece of it, once you believe that you have it all done, we'll jump on one last call. It's kind of a sanity check kind of call where I'm going to double check your ads, make sure they're perfect. I'm going to double check your emails, your text and landing pages, make sure they're going to convert. And then, and only then, and once you understand, how to follow up with them and you understand what to do once leads are coming in, then and only then, we're going to hit that launch button together so that you can feel really good about it, so you can feel confident you did everything right, and so that you can get really freaking excited about having people contact your business. From there, we'll have a 2-week performance evaluation where we'll check in with you, make sure ads are going in the right direction. And if intervention is necessary, we'll make adjustments. But after all this happens in the first 10 days. So it is a little intensive, but really this is a 30-minute call. This is about 45 minutes to an hour. This one's about 20 minutes. So it's pretty short. Each of these homework assignments takes you about an hour and a half. So it's very, very digestible, even if you've never done this stuff. But our support team is world-class. They're checking in with you regularly to make sure that not only that you know what step comes next, but they're actually also observing your campaigns behind the scenes so that they can reach out to you proactively before problems happen, because they might be able to identify it a little bit faster than you. And so we got a really, really, really good support team that's out there. Shout out Ben Murphy and Hannah Sai. You guys are amazing. So once your campaign's set up, essentially every single month we have accountability calls where we check in with you, make sure your campaigns are on track, and make sure you know what the next step needs to be with your campaign. We have midterm calls and graduation calls. And if you are not getting the minimum required success that we need you to have within the program, you do not graduate. Okay. You do not graduate with a D-. Okay. We keep you within the program and keep supporting you until you get that A+, and you're getting the reasonable return that we want to see within this program. Because like I said, the only thing we care about is our client success rate, because we think it is the most sadly valued and under thought about thing in the marketing and coaching space. No one asks what percentage of your clients get good results. No one asks that, and people should. And so we want to focus on advertising, the only metric that really should matter when it comes to marketing, coaching, and agencies, the client success rate. And so that, as you can see, is where we invest all of our time, energy, and money. Additionally to all this, we do have Zoom calls every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday within our booked partnership program group. And so every single day we're having high value conversations. Every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we have live trainings and Q&As so that every step of the process, no matter when you have a question, you're able to jump on one of the days of the week, one of the calls. We'll bring you on live, we'll share your screen, we'll audit everything together and make sure that you are extremely confident in what you're doing, because we know that uncertainty is the biggest killer of success when it comes to advertising and paid ads. And so we want to make sure that you always know that there's someone that has your back, that's in your back corner, that you always know exactly what you need to do next to make sure that your campaigns and your practice are always trending in the right direction. So you guys, if you're interested in figuring out what it would be like to work with me and my team to help you set up your Revolver campaign system so you can have patients contacting your phone or contacting your practice daily, and so you can really start to scale your practice by being able to predict how many patients you're going to be getting next month, comment game plan or comment booked in the chat, and one of our specialists will reach out to you to follow up and see, what your best next steps should be to grow your practice and if you're a good fit. Everyone, thank you so much for being here. Have a great night. Talk soon. Bye.